Okay guys, today I want to talk to you about something that can sound really complicated, but actually it's really simple, just some big words. It's going to be most applicable to those who are really getting into vertical jump training for the first time, or for people who are making a lot of strength gains, but they're not seeing a lot of progress or carryover into their vertical jump. And what we're talking about today is called neuromuscular facilitation. It's also called synaptic facilitation. Some people like to call it greasing the groove or muscle memory. And what happens here is that the repetition of an activity is going to facilitate the transmission process between a neural pathway. And what this results in is increased agility, speed, coordination, and most importantly, power. So this is really some neat words for something that everyone knows, and that is that repetition is the mother of all learning for any type of skill. And we talked about in prior videos that the vertical jump really is a skill. We don't think of it as a skill, but it really is a skill. And that as a skill, a maximum level vertical jump, or jumping as high as you possibly can, is completely different than jumping at lower levels. So if you're training to jump at lower levels, it's not necessarily going to carry over into jumping at higher levels. Just as walking is not a good practice if you're trying to increase your sprinting speed. Walking or jogging is a completely different skill than sprinting. And it's the same thing. Jumping at lower levels is a completely different skill than maximum level vertical jumping. Now, putting synaptic facilitation into your training program is actually fairly simple. And if you're already on my program, this is what I call the off-day activation, or which is also done on the training days as well. Now, this is as easy as taking the skill you want to learn and repeating it every day multiple times. Now, some of you are going to hear all the things that I've said about overtraining and how so many people overtrain, and you're going to hear what I'm saying about performing these jumping exercises every day, and you're going to say this is overtraining. But the difference is that the type of training that synaptic facilitation is not going to significantly tax the central nervous system. It's also not going to significantly tax any of your muscular systems, the skeletal muscular system. So there's not going to be really any significant recovery necessary from this type of training. And it's really not, this type of training should be a supplement to the training that you're currently doing. Okay, and so what you want to do is you want to choose the skill you want to learn, or the type of vertical jump you want to increase, whether it be your 1-foot approach, your 2-foot approach, your standing vertical, maybe it's a drop step jump that you need to work on. I'd recommend working on them all if they're applicable to your sport. And what you need to do is get warmed up, start with a dynamic warm-up, make sure you're nice and warm, and then you want to practice that specific approach, that specific jump 10 to 20 times. And that's a maximum effort jump. The way you want to measure this to make sure that you're not overtraining and to make sure that you're getting the most out of it is you want to do these jumps in a place where you can make sure they're at your maximum capacity. So you can use a rim, you can use a ceiling, you can use anything that lets you know you're jumping very near to your maximum capacity. And when you do these jumps, if you are not reaching your maximum capacity, it's a way to know that you probably do need recovery. Although it's not going to hurt you to do 10 maximum effort jumps, it is going to help you keep a bead, kind of keep an eye on where your nervous system's at, where your muscular system's at, and what type of recovery you're in need of. However, you should be able to perform 10 maximum effort vertical jumps each and every day, and that shouldn't be a problem. That's not going to interfere with your recovery. In fact, doing that warm-up and stretching out really well each day is going to increase your ability to recover from the other workouts. So people who are fairly new to vertical jump training are going to realize in as short as a week or even sooner than that their vertical jump is going to be increased because of the facilitation process that happened, because of the increased form that they have at a cellular level. Now, if you have already had a lot of experience jumping, you already have pretty good form, and you're already pretty experienced with all the forms of jumping, you're still going to notice an increase from doing this type of training, but the increase may not be initially as large as those who are less skilled at jumping as you are. However, practicing this on a continued basis is going to help to transfer the continued strength gains you have into vertical jump increases so that you don't hit a plateau where you're gaining in strength but you're not gaining in your vertical. So this is an important practice to continue during the duration of your training. As well as I mentioned before, it is going to help you always keep an eye on where you're at recovery-wise and what your vertical truly is. I mean, those of you who are testing your vertical once every couple weeks are not going to get the same idea of the type of increases you have if you're performing maximum effort vertical jumps each and every day. Okay, so just wanted to sum up what we talked about: neuromuscular facilitation, synaptic facilitation, grease the groove, or muscle memory. It's just really fancy ways of saying to practice and repeat the skill you want to learn, such as a vertical jump, which is really a skill. And the more you practice that, the more the facilitation process of the transmission across a neural pathway is going to take place. So basically learning the skill at a neural level. And that's going to increase your agility, your speed, and your overall power and coordination, which is going to increase your ability to demonstrate strength you currently have in short amounts of time, or basically take strength and put it into the vertical jump so that those strength gains also increase your vertical jump. And as I mentioned before, you can do these jumps every single day, and you do not have to worry for the most part, unless you have had an extremely intense training session where you're absolutely floored the next day. You should be able to complete 10 to 20 of the specified exercise, the specified jump each and every day, and it's because you're not significantly taxing the central nervous system or the skeletal muscle system. It's not going to interfere with your recovery. Make sure and get nice and warmed up before you do this, because a maximum effort jump is going to require that your muscles and your body is warmed up. So thanks for listening. Bye-bye.